what is gonna be the future of design once we get more used to or accustomed to design tools that will generate UI, modifiable UI based on a prompt? Last week, we talked about the escalator metaphor and why it's making designers dumber. And this is, let's say, part two of that, because yes, those prompt-based UI generators are also there to make people dumber, but not exactly in the same way. So let's quickly go through this. Figma announced some AI-based stuff, but before we get through what they did and how it's gonna shape the industry, we also need to talk about how they now admitted that they will be parsing your work for training future AI models. You can still opt out of this until August 15th, and I suggest you do. Now, what is the future gonna be? Is it gonna be just typing stuff into a box and then looking vaguely at it and thinking, yeah, that's good enough? It seems like that for a part of the industry. But if you're thinking that this little prompt box with pretty mediocre designs, and let's even assume that they're gonna get better, if you think this is gonna replace seasoned designers, then you might not be fully aware of what it is that a designer actually does. I recently talked to a client that has a team of his own designers, and he said that all of them are really good at drag and dropping pre-made components because yes, obviously they have a design system and building out screens. But if there is a bigger problem, a bigger issue for them to solve, they are scared of it. They're afraid of making a decision, they're afraid of taking action because they don't know if they're right or wrong. And obviously that kind of confidence only comes when you've done a lot of things and you can kind of connect the dots in your head. The more we get away from connecting the dots in your head and into the AI generate me stuff territory, the less you'll be using that brain and the less confident you'll be in your work. Because you know what? Is it still your work if you just typed a prompt into a box? Not really. There is this main difference between UI and art. Art is supposed to spark emotion and doesn't need to follow any guidelines or rules, really. It can be anything. With UI or design in general, it has to be functional, which means that in a way, design is finite. It's not something that's gonna drastically change in the future unless we maybe get some new devices like the AR or VR, but it's something that is pretty strict, pretty repeatable. That's why we have design systems. But at the same time, that whole process of arranging those little boxes of a form manually is using your brain to possibly come up with a better idea. And when this whole thing is done for you, it's not going to do what they're claiming that it's going to do, because they're saying that if you generate UI, you'll be more able to focus on strategizing. That's BS. There's not going to be enough time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
The result will be cheaper and faster UI generation, which will lead to a much, much lower quality of stuff. And I, for one, am pretty pissed off at this because I plan to retire in a few years and I don't want to use crappy products made by AI designers. And this is what's going to happen because when AI does something, let's say 80% the way, and you say, okay, maybe I can tweak it a little and then let's release it. It was really fast, took a few minutes, and then you're done with the design. But the next time you do it, you're thinking, yeah, maybe those tweaks weren't even necessary. 80% is fine. And then when it goes to 60 or 50% quality, you won't be even able to notice that because you'll be so reliant on typing those little prompt boxes and getting an answer. And we are really so used to what AI says and does for us to be acceptable quality even if it's not, then very, very soon the quality of stuff is going to decrease even more because you won't be critical of what AI gave you. Because yes, it gave you an answer, it gave you a UI, and now let's kind of wrap it up. Let's send it to the developers or to some AI that's going to develop it. So yes, the escalators metaphor is still valid. It's going to be the exact same thing, but multiplied. More and more people will get lazy, will get less critical, will get less design mindset into their heads. So basically, we're going to get way worse design. And we're also going to get an interesting thing. A lot of project managers now knowing that they can just type a prompt, will be doing design themselves, possibly firing some junior designers because they won't be necessary anymore. So that is a part of the future in which a lot of people subconsciously agreed to those companies to parse their personal projects and data to train those AI models to potentially replace them. But it's not going to replace all designers. Because the thing is that you really need those skills. And I'm not going to plug any courses or books here, don't worry. It's not about that. You can learn those skills anywhere. You can learn them through practice, which is the best way to learn them. And if you have those skills, it really doesn't matter what AI does because everybody's going to be running to you for guidance. However, if all you do is drag and dropping components all day, then these days might have been just finished. My prediction is a very big drop in quality and possibly firing a lot of designers who aren't really designers, who just kind of drag and drop components and consider this the design job. Design happens outside of a design tool. It's what you have in your head and how you can present a solution or a path to a solution to the client and be confident about it because people trust an expert. And if you kind of, it depends all the time, and if you can't take responsibility for your actions, then what are you really? Am I afraid of Figma AI or whatever other AI taking my job? Not really. We're getting more and more clients than ever right now because, yes, the quality of design overall has dropped and clients are seeing this. So if you're good, then you're gonna be good. And if you're not good enough, then AI is gonna make you even worse, even dumber, and even more lazy. But it's your choice, right?